Okay, so Karen, what you do is you do the photography session and then you do the selling straight after. This is your normal, right?
Yes,
Okay.
normal.
So don't you get a lot of objections, like people saying, I'll need my husband here, or what if the kids are still there? What do you do with the kids? It's been one of the big questions I've been asked because kids can run rampant and go and open your fridge door and do all that. How do you handle all those problems or objections straight after? And how
We
long after? Is it half an hour or three-quarters of an hour?
No, it's 10 minutes.
And we've got to
So
understand this is in your home. Your
yes,
studio is a converted garage, and your viewing room is your lounge room.
yes. So we have a three-seater couch facing an 80-inch or 75-inch television. Um, so as soon as Dean's taken the last photograph, in fact, when he knows that we are, say, one shot away from finishing, say 10 minutes away from finishing, he will go and unload the photos on his card so they're starting to go into his Mac. Then he'll come back, he'll do the last shot, and then as soon as he's done that, he'll go and he'll unload those. So they'll be going into his Mac while I'm, chatting to the client, getting them, just pack up your things. You can get packed up now, you can get changed, and we'll be going through the images in a few minutes. I'll offer them a tea or coffee or a cold water. If they've got kids, they're getting all of that packed up. Meanwhile, he's got all of the images into Lightroom. He's going through and doing his white balance. He doesn't overshoot, so we don't have a pile of images to get rid of. So while he's shooting, if he's got an image he's not happy with, he deletes them off the card straight away. He's a very careful shooter. He uses a monopod, and he only takes a photo when he's happy with what he's got. So we don't have 500 photos to unload at the time. There might be 150 or 100. So he's getting those sorted in Lightroom. He has the SSD little hard drive that he just then unplugs from his Mac, takes it over, puts it into our little Mac Mini, which runs the television, and he's got Lightroom on that, and he loads them all into Lightroom there on the television. Meanwhile, parents, if there's kids there, they've got them packed up, they've taken them to the toilet or wherever, and they're all sitting on the couch ready. Now, yes, sometimes we'll have 5 or 6 or 7-year-olds that are wandering about, but we've got our big Samoyed that I'll get them to, you can give Sam her treat, because Sam gets a treat when we finish the session, and that's a cute thing. So they give Sam the treat. Or Dean's got an electric drum kit in the big room. It's a very musical room. There's guitars everywhere, there's drums, and we'll let a kid put on the headphones and bang on the drums if they want to. But mostly they're well behaved, and they're sitting down ready to have a look at their photos. They might be sitting on the floor in front of the TV, and then Dean will sit there and with his mouse and keyboard, he loads up the images. So in Lightroom, as you know, you can put up, say, 6 of the one shot. So, and he often shoots, and he'll make sure there's 6 or 8 so that they fill the screen, and then they'll go through and they'll select, okay, I like number 1, number 3, and number 5. Okay, they get starred. We go through like that, then we go into the next star. All right, okay, I like out of that set, I like number 1. Right. So we go through and we minimize until we get down to, right, now you're down to 6 that you absolutely love. Now, okay, we're back to the pricing. Those 6, if you get them as blah, 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 is this much. And that's when they'll go, okay, right, well, then we'll want to get we'll take that. Or if they've had 10, do they want to get down to 5 package? Do they want to get to the 10? What do they want to do with it? But it's really easy process, and that's all done probably within 20 minutes, and they've made the decision, they've paid their payment on the credit card, and they're out the door.
So,
It's not a drama.
what about if they say, what about if the partner's not there? How do you overcome that? Or
That has happened. That's happened a couple of times. What we'll do is we'll go through and we'll say, okay, well, we will get down, we'll fine tune it ourselves now. We'll get down to the ones that we all believe are the absolute best, and that might be, say, the last 10, and we'll give you a gallery to take home. We do not like doing that because a lot of the times it takes them forever to get back to us. Or one of them we had to make a time to come back in. But we don't like doing that. But it really doesn't happen very much because I tell them when I book them in that we do the viewing straight after the session. So they know that's going to happen. One woman who has to come back in for viewing tomorrow, she didn't leave enough time and she had to leave straight after the session. So she has to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
And another woman did want her husband in, so we went through and we shortlisted the last, what she thought was the best ones, and we all thought were the best ones. And we actually let her take a photograph of the screen. They were all up on the screen on the television. She went home and showed her husband, and then she just emailed back and said, yep, he loves all of those. Just go ahead. So I think we've had one family where they were both in here. Husband was in here as well, and they said, oh, look, we just can't make a decision. Can we go away and think about it? And they've never come back. So,
and
but it doesn't happen very much.
And you hadn't learned that technique of saying, so what will change between you going away
no, we hadn't
about it, and is it the money?
Yeah, it was one of our first kids and music sessions. So,
but overall, 95%,
98%, just do it on the day.
Do it on the day, and that's
and most of them. Yeah, most of them are happy to because that's a selling point for us. I say to them when I'm booking them in, look, we do the session straight after, so that's all done. You don't have to come back for viewing. And most people go, oh, that's great, because a lot of them are travelling an hour or an hour and a half,
and they're time poor.
Yeah. And I'll say to them, so if you need your husband to help you make a decision, it might be best if he's here with you. So yeah, that's a selling point up front for us.
What do you do about head swaps? Because I often, especially with family sessions, you've got, dad smiling, mum's blinking or whatever. I do those head swaps before the viewing.
We would say that it's happened once. And okay, it's not, head swaps aren't a big thing for us. What might be a big thing is that, for example, with our instrument sessions, we might get the kid looking great in a photo, but there's a bit much of the light stand or something weird. I know there was one photo where Dean caught me moving the light. He asked me to move the light, and he took the photo before I'd managed to get out of it. So he had said, oh, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this from that photo and that from that photo and combine them. And people are smart enough to visualize it. If you had to do a head swap, you just go, okay, look, I like dad from that and I like mum from that. I'm going to take the head from that and put it on that one.
Okay.
And they're not silly. They'll go, oh, okay, yeah. So I don't know. And I know a lot of photographers go and edit the best 20 photos and hope that they can sell them. To me, that's just a waste of time. As long as you work. I
don't do full edits, but I will do just get them looking right. So if the background's not all there, I'll edit the background in. Or
we have shots where the background's not all there, and we'll go through them and we'll just say there might be a bit of a softbox that's in the corner of a shot.
Yeah.
And people just assume that you're going to they've seen your work.
Yeah.
They've seen your work online, and they're seeing that there's no messy backgrounds, no lights hanging around, no arms in the shot that shouldn't be there. And you just say to them, oh, that'll all the mess, any mess that you see, of course, will be taken out. And they go, oh, of course. When we are photographing women, when we see, when we're looking at them, if they've got stretch marks, they're there. And we'll just say to them, oh, look, don't worry about those marks, they'll be taken out. Or if we're looking at a photo and there's a bit of a tummy bulge, as soon as we're looking at it, I'll just say, that'll all get fixed, don't worry about that. And yes, that would, ideally you'd love to show them edited photos, but you can't. And we've never had an issue in the past.
It's trust, isn't it? They trust you. You're the professional. Then.
That's what they say. They say, "Oh, we trust that you'll make it look right." Because if they've seen your portfolio and there's mess in them, they're probably not going to book.
Yeah.
So the time period between the shoot and the viewing is approximately 30.
Between the shoot and the viewing,
yeah,
the gap 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
But yeah, all they do is get time to pack up. Sometimes they haven't even had time to pack up before Dean says ready, and I'll just say I'll just pack that up a bit later on. Come
and
on.
When you say pack up, that's because they brought changes of clothes and
they've bought or they've got kids with instruments. The instruments need to go back into their packages. Yeah. And some of them will pack the car. Some of them will say, oh, look, I'll just take all this out to the car, and they're all ready to go afterwards. So because there's two of us, he just leaves the room straight away. And while I sort of chat and, how was that? Was it fun? Blah, 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 blah. Or grab them a drink, make them a cup of tea, that sort of stuff. And there's really not all that much time to spend. But as I say, there's two of us.
It's also the numbers are great, aren't they? That, if you do with limited time, if you do 6 sessions a week, and you try and do 2 a day, don't you?
We try, yes.
2 a day, 3 days a week is 6 sessions a week.
Yeah.
And, the numbers, if you get $1,000, that's $24,000 a month. And
that's what our aim would be.
And that's $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year is pretty good.
Yes.
If you can keep that momentum going.
Yes, if you can keep that going.
And sometimes you might do more, sometimes a little bit less, but overall, it's a great, the numbers speak really well. And the other thing, of course, is profitability, because a lot of your clients buy, say, 5 10 by 8s, which are just over $1,000, and you do your own printing.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's no mess. You don't have to send anything out. You haven't got the suppliers' costs, bills coming in, whatever. It's simple.
No. Our most popular package would be the Louser 8x12s, matted 8x12s. Most people get 5 matted 8x12s. After their discount, they'll spend $1,000. Some get more. Some might just get 3, but it's averaging at the 5 for $1,000. And it costs us, as you say, we do our own printing. And then we've just got the mats. I mat them up, pack them, send them, and they get the digital files as well. So, and the digitals get emailed to them, so we don't have USBs to have to buy as well. So it's minimal. And then when we do, so like for example, we did a beautiful boudoir sale. She spent a couple of $1,000s on a book, but even those are quick. I can lay up a boudoir book in like 15 minutes, have them sent off to the client. She approves it, off it goes, and they're so quick. With the printing of that, it's back within a week. So
with the selling after the shoot, you used to do it the other way, did you with your boudoir? You always did the sales after,
Always sold straight after a shoot.
so that's your normal. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I could handle them coming back. For one thing, you've got to then, because it's in their house, you've got to clean up. So when they're here, the place is already neat and tidy. Like, for example, we've got one woman coming back tomorrow for a viewing who couldn't view a while ago, and she's now changed her viewing time 4 times. Just keeps on changing because something will come up. That would drive me crazy if I was doing that with 20 people.
Keep coming back. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And then having them just, because once the excitement's gone, then it's not a big, there's nothing pushing them to come back, especially if they think, oh, once I go back, I'm going to have to spend that, $1,000 to $1,500 that I don't really have. Whereas they're excited when they're here.
Yeah.
And they've got also, like you might think the kids are a distraction or a pain. The kids are actually, especially since a lot of our sessions are focused on the kid will be having an input into the photos they love. I'll be saying, oh, I love that one, Mum. And then you'll get down to like the last 5 and then Mum will be saying, oh, do you love those? Oh, I love all of those. Oh, I also like that one there. So we'll often say, if you take the 5 package, because Mum's humming and hawing over the $1,000, we'll say, if you take the 5 package, we'll drop that extra one that, Sally really loved. We'll drop that in as a bonus for you. Oh, okay, excellent. Right, let's do that then.
You can see Karen's not a very good salesperson.
But I'll just want that $1,000.
Say we'll do that one for half price.
No, I'll drop it in and they'll jump straight in then.
And the other thing is, does that include the files when they get those?
Yeah.
8 by 12. Size of the files is 8 by 12, or you give them full res?
Well, yeah, he does give them full res.
Right.
He does, and he's okay to do that. I mean, I guess we could just give them the medium res. But look, we're happy with, and people go away with a big smile on their face. And we get $1,000. So as long as we can keep pushing those.
That's pretty good, isn't it, for the amount of work? And that's the whole point, the effort and the reward. You get well rewarded for the effort.
Yeah. Dean can edit these in no time. Well, there's no editing with kids, really. And because he's a tidy shooter, he doesn't have to muck around with editing very much. And the way we shoot our women's boudoir, we make sure things are right in camera as much as possible. Anyway, so yeah, his editing time has seriously dropped. I remember he could spend 3 or 4 hours editing a boudoir session when we first started this about 10 years ago. And now a boudoir session, he can have 15 images edited in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
What a difference. Yeah. All right. Thanks for that, Karen. I'll just switch off.